So I've been cursed with knowledge about a manga and I'm about to make it everyone else's problem. And I'm gonna rant for a few minutes. Look, if the content warning I slapped at the start of this didn't include you in, we're gonna be covering some shit, okay? So, let's frame this off with a bit of a story. See, I, like any decent manga browser, was skimming my typical, definitely legal, manga website to see if I could find anything new to read. Lo and behold, I come across a manga called Jinrouki Winvurga, whose cover I am no doubt using as part of the background for this rant. I'd seen it once or twice, but, paid it no mind. Only for this time to actually catch my gaze because my stupid-ass monkey brain sees cute girl and giant robot and goes, I got time to waste, might as well. This would turn out to be a bit more of a turning point than I thought it would be. Okay, let's get into this. Chapter 1 kicks off about as any good manga does. It establishes a status quo, introduces us to our main character, in this case a one Masha or Miller, sets things up. Pretty typical manga setup, right? We get a status quo, suddenly the MC's home gets invaded by the typical evil empire, and they get their hands on some uber-powerful mecha, in this case, the titular Winvurga. Sounds pretty typical, yeah? I'm about to explain why the fuck there's a content warning. And, I'll repeat that here. If you're uncomfortable with the topics I'm about to discuss, please feel free to kick off this video now and, go relax to watch some kittens or puppies or just anything fucking else. Please do not put yourself through mental pain to indulge my insane-ass ranting. Anyway, see, Winvurga is written by one Sumna Shimashiro-sensei. Decent artist, I've come to like his character mechanical designs. The thing is, he's one of those writers. The kind who has about one gimmick for establishing how bad villains are half of the time, and a gimmick that is repeated so incessantly in this manga that it loses some of its impact so many times in, and I'm not sure how to feel about that considering the topic that this is. And as much as I want to rant about it in an insanely negative way, my feelings are, as said, mixed. I can't really figure it out, and there's definitely a level of bias towards what I prefer to see being written versus what I don't like to see being written, so take what I say with a grain of salt. Basically, Tsushima Sensei's gimmick for the main villains involves about one thing, and it is that the main villains are the imperialistic, hyper-toxically masculine empire known as the Dominators, fucking creative name by the way, who have the age-old shtick of such an imperial system as men rule everything and women are either breeding stock or in some cases fucking meat shields, meaning that this manga has very frequent depictions of things such as violent sexual assault coupled with the classic mecha violence, and I don't know how to feel about this. See, it is debatable that Tsunoshima handles it kind of well. Again, very debatable based on how you view this topic and what you think about it in terms of writing. See, everyone who actually has their heads on straight in this manga is absolutely horrified by how common of a practice it is in the Empire, and those who do fall victim to it are portrayed as suffering genuine and harsh trauma from it. And to the point that for one character, her trauma is so severe, she does a complete 180 into the complete opposite of the Empire's mindset, which is, surprisingly enough, considering this is the current arc, portrayed as being just as bad as what the Empire is doing, because it basically creates the same problem, but in reverse. And as I've said, I don't know how to feel about how this is portrayed, without just, I don't know, because there's a number of panels that, probably because of that I have been forced to read way too many NTR dojins, that some of these panels almost come off as seemingly intended to be titillating in the way they're portrayed and how they display this, because this manga shamelessly displays the often unpleasant scenes of these characters being assaulted in these ways, and it is not comfortable. So the thing is, I totally understand why no one will want to read this after going through the first chapter. I did, because apparently I'm just kind of a masochist, I suppose. See, some people may say It's handled well, by their own opinions. Some people may be like me and just stuck in something of a complete limbo of being unsure how to feel about it, whether it's portrayed reasonably well or if it's just fucking exploitative. And then there's the people who understandably want nothing to fucking do with it. See, I took a moment to look at the Mal page, and unsurprisingly, out of all of the reviews it's gotten, most of them are 1 star. And I don't blame people, because I don't blame them if they read chapter 1, get to the mood whiplash of its plot setup, and drop it into the fucking furnace. As I said, it is unapologetic in its portrayal of this hard topic, and it is so fucking edgy sometimes with the violence and how it's portrayed. And not to mention, God, Tsunoshima, why do you keep finding excuses to take Mashiro out of her clothes? On God, please let this girl keep something on half the time, holy shit. And just, I don't know how to feel. Again, I will keep repeating it, because the whole frickin' empire of pillage, rape, burn, and murder starts to feel old, and I shouldn't be saying that about a fucking topic like that. It's just, okay, it's one thing to run this age-old, tried-and-true trope of combating the evil empire that takes some of the worst traits of humanity and cranks it to 11. That's typical, it's been done hundreds, if not thousands of times, but this is one of those things where, because of purely my personal feelings about how this topic is handled and my unsureness about how to view it in this context of the manga, that it gets grating seeing these scenes happen again and again and again. And it's just so old. And then the other thing is, there's actually parts about Jinrouki that I like within this morass of self-conflict I am constantly suffering from every time I so much as glance at this manga's general direction. Tsunoshima's character designs are top-notch, his mecha designs are just as good. I mean, just look at the cover art I'm using. Frickin', you wouldn't know what's going on just by looking at that cover, but, you know, it's there. And even some of the writing, I would say, isn't the worst writing I've read. The characters are, for the most part, if they're actually important and not just bit characters meant to drive the point home, genuinely well handled in my opinion. And hell, Mashiro actually goes through a very decent character arc. Hell, for crying out loud, it's actually good. I like her, actually. Mashiro is, I mean, aside from being the MC and kind of being my type, I just have a weird thing for short stacks. I don't know. It's whatever, it's my taste. But she has a fun personality. She's that kind of nice blend of nice and adorable and sweet, but also could totally fucking kick someone's ass if she's motivated enough and just doesn't take shit from anyone when she's really motivated. And it's kind of fun to watch her just tell these people where to fucking stick it because she's doing things her way and fuck you. But at the same time, for all these good moments, again, Tsunoshima, let this girl keep her fucking clothes on. Like, there's this entire arc within, like, the mid to late chapter 30s where Mashiro gets involved in this big climactic fight against the main villain who's using her father as, like, a meat puppet to pilot another pretty cool mech, because the mechs in this series transform between animal forms and humanoid forms, and this one's a fucking T-Rex. But it's this big, emotional, climactic fight where Mashiro is trying to save her father, who is so far the one person from her village she has been able to find and potentially help out after the shit that went down in Chapter 1. And it's let down, for me at least, by the fact that I keep seeing Mashiro's fucking tits flying in my face every other goddamn panel. Look, I like ecchi, okay? I write 2 fanfics for goddamn high school D&D. I am not unused to having TNA flashed into my face every now and again, and in some ways often excessively so. But when I'm reading a mecha story about fighting an empire of rape, pillage, and burn, and occasionally taking off another part to deal with a society that does the opposite of them, but also portraying how that's just as bad as Masano Yomi's arc is basically entirely showing how the matriarchal society of that place is itself not that good because it accomplishes nothing. But it's so complicated I mean, Mashiro isn't even the only character I think I could talk about. I could probably make an entire video just talking about the characters in this manga and how I actually find them kind of appealing to watch when the freaking other stuff isn't going on, because Tsuneshima knows how to make fun characters. I will be totally honest. Their designs are all unique and interesting. They're fun to look at. Their personalities certainly fucking stand out. But it's just... This is meant to be a rant. I'm not trying to go in depth to this, so just... I can't recommend this manga to anybody, okay? If you really want to read it, the translation is up on, like, MangaDex and a few other websites. I don't know, you're not going to find it on anything official, because this thing is published in, like, some adult magazine over in Japan, and it's, like, a monthly thing. I don't fucking know, okay? Look, it's just, if you're uncomfortable with anything I've talked about, and again, content warning at the beginning of the video, content warning before I started talking about it anyway, so if you've come this far, I do fucking apologize if you are coming out of this kind of unsettled and uncomfortable. And if not, then okay. Everyone gets through things differently. But just, if you want to check it out, even though I would say, God, this manga is fucking edgy and not in a fun way at times. But just, rant done. Now the curse has been transitioned to everyone else who watches this video. Have a good night, day, afternoon, or whatever else your time zone makes it when you watch this video.